It's Thursday, the 5th of October, 2021. Welcome to the first match preview show of the upcoming 2021-22 season as Blackpool travel to Ashton Gate this Saturday to take on Bristol City in the opening game of the new season in the Championship. I'm John Aspinall. This is the Seasiders podcast Thursday night preview show. Thursday, Bristol City versus Blackpool. Tradition. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Seasiders podcast Thursday night preview show. The clue's in the question there, everybody. We've now changed this show to Thursday because it's a more kind of suitable day, gives you an extra day to digest everything. And unfortunately, Tim, we've lost a key member of the former Friday night preview show, haven't we? Your son has jumped ship.
Yeah, he hasn't even told me he's jumped ship. It's news to me.
Oh, you did? What?
Well, I sort of picked it up from the chat a bit.
Right,
he's
okay.
never actually said anything.
Well,
we don't communicate in our house.
Do you just text each other in the fielding house?
We have a text group in there, family. So if it's tea, when the tea's on the table, you get a text rather than a shout.
It's because he lives in a mansion, isn't it? Nobody can hear each other.
You took the words out of my mouth, Matt. Is it semaphore from a wing to me communicate? Semaphore out of a wing.
So this is the first I've heard of this official departure.
Well, yeah, Sam's. I would say he's moving on to bigger and better things, but it doesn't get any better than doing the Seasiders podcast. But he's moving on to do more media work. So well done, Sam. And it's the things that pay the bills, I guess, Tim, that gives you all the rent money, I guess.
Yeah,
board
rent money. Yeah, we'll have to revisit that one, I think. But I think the problem is he's not going to be able to watch Blackpool as much this season, and as a result, and therefore, it makes it quite difficult, I think, to host a show and to comment on what goes on for obvious reasons, doesn't it? Well, I think we've recruited well in the transfer window.
Unlike a certain football club, we've dipped our toes into the transfer market and we've recruited him there, Mr. Connor Hamilton. Welcome to the Seasiders podcast team, Connor. Great to have you on board.
It's great to be here, and thanks for signing me up. My only regret is that I can't play right back.
Did you get the presenter contracts through from Mr. Tim Fielding there?
I did, but I think he must use the same lawyers as Derby because all the wage bit was blank.
Well done, Tim. You have done as I have instructed there. Great law firm, Barker, Booth and Eastwood, aren't they, Tim?
Yeah, and we're very good at creating blank contracts with no remuneration to be paid. So did Derby?
The Oystons didn't employ you for the summer contracts. Paying that £90 every 2 weeks.
Now you mention it.
They could have got it. They could have gone to nothing. Right, anyway, Connor, welcome. So Connor's going to be getting involved with Sean on the preview show that we are going to be doing Thursdays from now on. So Connor, do you want to just tell us a bit about yourself, how long you sport with Blackpool for? And you do a lot of highly technical, statistical data stuff that's way beyond my pay grade. So if you want to tell everyone about that.
Sure. So I grew up in Lancashire. My dad is a big Blackpool fan, grew up in Blackpool. And I wasn't actually interested in football that much until I became a teenager, at which point I started going to get games, mainly as a way of spending more time with my dad. And then, I know, right? Kind of. Surprised you haven't got that sound on your mixing board, John. But yeah.
You keep talking, I'll fire one. Go on.
Just really fell in love with it there. Kind of the family is now expanded. We all go. We've got season tickets right behind the away dugout. So I'm well versed in winding up the opposition. That's my usual activities, and I hope to be able to bring insights on what's happening in the opposition dugout, to these various pods as the season goes on. And then in terms of my Blackpool content journey, I've lived in London the last 4 years, and I've just this week actually moved back to Manchester. So I'm hoping to be able to go to more and more games. And yeah, I really like, while I was in London, I started following Arsenal a fair bit. I saw all the kind of really sophisticated kind of analysis and output being put around Premier League sides, Champions League sides, etc. And I really decided, well, why shouldn't Blackpool have something like that? Why shouldn't there be people doing, fanalytics for Blackpool? So I started up my little Twitter account, did a couple of data visualizations. Tom Johnson at UTMP reached out and said, do I want to start writing for them? And then, yeah, it's been a great couple of months since, and delighted to have made my way to the hallowed halls of the Seasiders podcast with you, esteemed gentlemen.
Oh,
doesn't get any better, Con, honestly.
It's vastly overqualified, isn't it, John?
Yeah, and I do like that phrase I've not heard before. Fanalytics, is that actually a thing?
I don't know. I've heard a couple of people on Twitter use it, and they sounded clever, so I decided I'd steal it.
Well, the main question, though, Connor, is: are you accredited?
I'm not accredited, and that's another reason why I'm so excited to be on this podcast. I can learn at the footsteps of the great Sean McGinley, and one day maybe become accredited myself.
Otherwise known as the Great No Show. So he was supposed to be turning up this evening. Tim, I said to him, "Do you fancy hosting it this evening?" It's not really my forte, the preview shows, and I think his arse has gone. He's just not replied. He's disappeared.
Is he actually bottled it? Is he?
Yeah. So they clearly don't teach bottle in accreditation school, do they?
Or video presentation.
Right, shall we get on with the show then? Matt, we've not said hello to you yet, so hello, how are you doing?
No, I was feeling a bit left out, but I don't take it personally, John. I'm used to it by now, just being ignored in the corner.
Welcome on the stream, everybody. Sorry I didn't say hello. Welcome on the audio pod. Mark's just said it's the gruesome foursome. Is that good or bad? Cliff's just said to you, Connor, does Connor's middle name begin with a J? I don't get that. Do you get it?
CJ Hamilton.
Okay. Slow off the mark. Robbins talk. Hello, every Bristol City fan. To give you an opposition view, brilliant. Yeah. Do pipe up. Bison's here. Welcome to Connor. We're trying parcel in the squad's weekend recruitment has been piss poor. Bison's is not a happy man with the recruitment.
Shock.
No.
Nothing's changed. He's had an exciting summer, though, being miserable.
Right, on with the show then. Connor, give us a lowdown on Bristol City. Sorry to put you in the hot seat straight away. So, managed by, the things I know, managed by Nigel Pearson. Yeah. The stadium's had a bit of a facelift. And their key player is that massive player from Oxford who Ellis Sims dominated over T-Legs in the League One playoff final.
Yeah, Rob Atkinson. They've just signed him from Oxford.
Rob Atkinson, that was it.
It is.
Let's quickly say, is anyone going tomorrow, Saturday? I am. Matt, are you going?
Yep, going down.
Right, are you going, Connor?
My first ever trip to Bristol City, so I'm looking forward to it.
Right, all right, okay. So what's your plan then? Driving, train?
I'm getting a lift off my mate. Setting off at, I think, about 7:30, something like that in the morning, making sure that we get there in plenty of time because last week when I handed over one of the tickets to my mate, he decided to put it through his washing machine. So we've now got to collect a one from the ticket office before kick-off.
This is Ashton Gate as it stands now. So I think my last visit was about 15 years ago. So it's been heavily redeveloped by the looks of it, and I'm just hoping that they don't have those awful backless seats in the way end. I had a bit of an altercation with, which I won't go on about again. I'm sure regular listeners of this show know about it. So Connor, have you been to Ashton Gate before, and are you going this weekend?
I must admit, I've never been to Ashton Gate before, and this weekend won't be the first time. I've just moved moved all my partner's stuff from Taunton in Somerset up to Manchester, and after sending God knows how many hours in a van from Somerset, I've no desire to revisit there quite so soon.
You should have timed it. Do you move kind of just after this weekend? You could have stayed down there, gone to the game, drunk some cider as well while you were down there.
No, it'll be one for the future.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Anyway, as I said, managed by Nigel Pearson, massive ex-Oxford centre half. What else can you tell us about them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the signing from the massive. I really rate Rob Atkinson, who signed from Oxford, and a lot of the kind of experts, also do. George Elek from the Not Top 20 pod, who's a massive Oxford fan, really rates him. And to be honest, they do need much better centre halves. They were 19th last season and only avoided relegation, I think, through a combination of luck and the fact there were so many poor, disastrous sides below them, like Huddersfield, Derby, and of course the sides who have relegated.
They have got a very rich owner who chucked a lot of money at them a few years ago to get them in the Premier League. Has that kind of died down?
They still have a very rich owner. Stephen Lansdowne, who owns the Hargreaves Lansdowne kind of investment platform, is the guy who owns them.
Oh, Matt, the man after your own heart there. That's your kind of world, isn't it? Financial platforms.
I wish I was after his wallet.
He's like, well, I think he's worth 1.4 billion. He's one of the few billionaire owners in the Championship.
Blimey.
And kind of he does love the club. He appears on fan podcasts and says it's embarrassing how much money he's sunk into the club. He talks about how the accounts are going to be horrific. He makes a big show, at least, of putting a lot of money into the club, like the stadium redevelopment. It's just a shame that the results aren't really showing on the pitch, at least last season. They were really in relegation form for much of last season. They were quite dire. I think they conceded the worst chances in the league, by a comfortable margin.
And was it the second half of the season? They went into free fall, didn't they? From what I can recall, I don't think they had that bad a start, and probably it's a good job that they didn't, because I think they would, that you said, they'd really be in trouble, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think them and Huddersfield are probably tied for worst second halves of that season. I don't really know.
Closely followed by the Nobbers, I think.
Come to that.
And even like Nigel Pearson, who John pointed out, couldn't stop that decline. I think he won 2 games, lost 15 while he was in charge. I can't remember how many he drew. So he was nowhere near stopping that decline. And I think the real hope of Bristol City fans is that with a couple of key players returning from injury, and now that he's had a full season in, full pre-season to kind of implement his tactics in the squad, I think they're hoping that's what's going to stop a repeat of the end of last season, because otherwise they are going down.
Right, H. Robbins taught us we were third after 12 to 15 games, but after that we were utterly hopeless.
It's kind of like the reverse of Blackpool's season last year.
Mm-hmm. It is. So would it be safe to say then that they're going to take that? They're taking that form into next season. It's hard to sometimes get out of a downward spiral, isn't it? So it could be good opportunity for Blackpool to register a win on the first game of the season.
I think we should absolutely be looking to take points off them, but I think they're a much stronger side than a lot of people expect. I see a lot of people, saying they're going to get relegated, and I don't predict that for them. They had such a heavy degree of injuries last season. I think that like their big purchase last summer was a guy called Joe Williams for 1.2 million. This kind of big defensive midfielder. He only played twice because of injury. So he's going to be like a new signing for them this season. Their best inside forward got injured and was out for big chunks. Andy Weeman, Chris Martin, their kind of false 9 type striker. He was out for much of the season, and then kind of crucially, big parts of their defence, like Jay Da Silva, their left back, were out for much of the season. So with all those players coming back, hopefully kind of fit, coming into the start of the season, I just don't think we can assume it's going to be the same Bristol City from last year. I think Blackpool should set up, with a degree of respect for Bristol City. And, kind of if we come away with this with a draw rather than a win, I'm not going to be too disappointed about it. It's probably going to be a very different Bristol City side to the one that ended last season.
Yeah, that's interesting. So our home form was the third worst in the league then, according to H. Robbins. So yeah, let's hope they continue that. And as Connor says how Bristol City might set up, let's talk about how Blackpool might set up. And we're going to pick it via this fantastic new innovation. So firstly, Tim, how do you think we're gonna set up? Right, I'll let you set this team up, Tim. We could pick each spot, but you can pick the formation. So based on the players that we've got, do you think we'll be going into a 5-3-2 or?
I think we will. With being away from home and with the players we've got available, because I think we've got to assume that Dougal isn't going to play, haven't we? And we've got concerns now over Stewart. I presume Stewart isn't going to play either.
What is going on with Dougal? Has anyone heard?
I don't know.
Anything?
He's like he seems to have had the longest holiday of anybody, doesn't he? And but I mean, the fact that he hasn't. I was hoping he was going to play on Tuesday night, and that would give us a chance of playing. But particularly now with Stewart, I think he was probably going to start with Stewart and Ward. But now we've lost Stewart. We really need Dougal, don't we?
Of course we do. Yeah. Matt, have you not got any intel given the proximity of your parents and Mr. Dougal's residence?
No. Apart from nipping round to my mum's to sign my nephew's football over the summer when he came back from Kuwait or wherever he was playing at. No, he's not been seen of or heard of on the Fylde Coast, it seems. So I think he's one of those players, though, that you don't imagine him needing much time to get fit. He seems a naturally fit sort of fella once he gets to that particular point. So whether he's been doing a lot of work on his own or, away from the friendlies and etc., we can only hope, because as Tim said, the midfield is a bit sort of threadbare when you think of the side that sort of finished the sort of last half a dozen plus games of the last season. It's just could be a bit of a tombola selection, couldn't it, on Saturday?
I think I'm taking a lot of confidence in terms of Dougal's fitness from the fact that he was playing with Australia, until about 3-4 weeks ago. Like, he's not had a long off season like many other Championship League One players. So hopefully that means he'll be able to bounce back from whatever knock he's picked up reasonably well. I've got a small hope that he'll be on the bench at least for Saturday. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's a decent shout. Right, I think we're all in agreement there, aren't we? Chris Maxwell's going in between the sticks. I don't think Stuart Moore's done enough to up-stick Chris Maxwell. We all agreed there, yeah?
Yep.
Right, who's playing the centre? Like Matt, you're an ex-defender. Who's playing the central? Are we going with this 3 centre-backs then?
I think. Yeah, sorry. I think we probably are. It's just a matter of who, really. I mean, I thought Marvin looked composed against Man City the other day, and he had a few minutes against Morecambe on Saturday. Obviously, Richard Keogh's been heavily involved in pre-season as well, and James Husband, of course, has been pretty much a mainstay. So I don't know whether those 3 are going to be the 3 centre halves, or whether Connolly's going to play in the centre half, or whether Casey's going to get involved somewhere. It's just a bit of an unknown, isn't it? I don't know whether anybody else has got any sort of strong feelings.
I think Husband is nailed on to start.
I was going to say exactly that. I think Husband's going to be the left one.
Yeah.
Keogh in the middle.
I think Keogh's playing.
Yeah.
Oh no, let's come to you.
If you can spell his name right, John. There's no U in it.
I thought that's how it was spelt. Okay.
There's no U in it.
We've got an anal solicitor on the show. So.
I do like to have things right.
I think
Connor, come on, Stato. Give us a right-sided.
If I was Critchley, I'd put Connolly on the right centre back. If only so he's playing at the right side of the pitch and can hopefully get a bit more experience there until we sign a right back. Probably personally, I'd prefer Marv there just because I've seen a bit more.
Marv, we've forgotten about Marv, haven't we?
But I think Connolly will get the nod just so he gets more and more experience on that right side of the pitch. And if we wanted to shift in the back 4 in game, we more easily could if Connolly's there.
Right. Okay. So this is our team that we want. Right. Do we want Marv or do we want Keogh there?
I think
Keogh's going to play.
I think Keogh's going to play as well. Yeah.
Matt, Tim.
I'd rather have Ekpateta in, but I think Keogh will. I thought we were picking the team we thought was going to start.
No, this is our 11.
Right.
I'll definitely put Marv in there then.
I'd put Marv in.
Agreed. Yeah.
I've not been impressed with Keogh so far.
Right.
Can't spell egg potato.
Mary.
We all see that, John.
Like that.
You can't spell check egg potato.
We just had a message. We have an observation. The comments anybody but husband. But to be honest, I think husband's been one of the most impressive players in pre-season. I think he's looked head and shoulders above everybody else. So I think you've got to deal with people the way they're playing. And I know he was a bit of he was a little bit it caused us a few problems in the early part of last season. But to be fair, I think he's been fantastic since.
Okay, I think this position's pretty nailed on, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Garbett,
100%.
Agreed. Okay. Right wing back. Problem position. Position. Are we sticking? CJ?
I was going to say I would actually away from home with the pace. I would consider playing CJ there. I don't think he will, but I would. But yeah, Mitchell has come in from the comments from Josh there.
He's injured, isn't he?
He has got a knock.
Sadly.
We don't know if he's playing or not, though. We don't know if he's playing or not, do we? Connor, what's your thoughts on this right wing back position?
I don't know. I think we don't have a right back, so it's got to be a right winger we convert. And I think the shout of CJ is a very, very good one. He's probably the best one we've got in that position. I wasn't that impressed with Bowler in the Man City game. He missed that kind of reasonably clear chance. So yeah, I would put CJ in there for now, but it's definitely our weakest spot on the pitch to no one's surprise.
Are we going to assume Dougal's playing then?
I don't think he is.
No. Stewart might be. Apparently Stewart's injury kind of seems relatively benign. He just rolled his ankle, so he might be able to start.
When Stewart centre mid,
I think we're keeping many fingers crossed here, aren't we? With what's going to be turning out on Saturday.
Yeah.
Matt, Tim, then who else is?
I think Keshi will be on that left hand side.
Keshi will be starting one.
Keshi will play on the left hand side there, I think, and I think you're going to have Ward on the right.
And Grant Ward. Yeah.
Right. Daz is a shoe in, isn't he?
100%.
Stuart's about there, isn't he? Is that about right?
Yeah. It's great. It's
right.
Great. I know, for the benefit of the audio pod, you need to come on YouTube and have a look at John's new graphic because it is quality.
What I'm doing, audio pod listeners, is we've got a squad picker. It's on the screen, and we're putting the player names in. We can move them around into the positions. As Tim said, it is very good. Right, who are we having playing behind Jezza in the number 10 role, even though it's number 11 on there?
I suppose this is the question mark over Mitchell in a way, isn't it? Because if he's fit, does he come in and then you sort of put Anderson in effectively the number 10 role, and then you got Ward, Stewart, and Mitchell as your midfield?
I'd say so, Matt. Actually, yeah.
So if he's fit,
that, yeah.
is that what we'd go for?
What about the new lad from?
Well, I would. If that's right. If Mitchell's fit, that's the way he's set up, isn't it? But if Mitchell isn't fit, then I'd actually go Lavery.
I think he's done enough.
I think he's looked like busy. He's not scared to run at players. He's not scared to stick his foot in. I'm not sure. I'm not completely convinced about his distribution, but he put the crossover, didn't he, for the one that got completely skied against City. So it looks like he can find a man as well. So I would gamble on him.
I'll tell you what's interesting. We've got how many signings have we made in the close season? Was it 9 or 8?
How many of these are making it to the team, Matt? Is that what you're about to say?
Well, yeah, we've got one in there, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think, right, with Connolly.
I think that was the observation we made after the Burnley game, wasn't it? That we didn't really think that many of the signings actually improved us.
No.
And that's where the concern lies, isn't it? We've got 2 in, haven't we, there? Because we've got Conley in as well, haven't we?
So are we going for Lavery then? Lavery?
I think Anderson
Yeah,
will
I
be
think so.
starting.
Yeah, Anderson will be on. It all depends on Mitchell. I think if Mitchell's fit, then Lavery's on benched. If he isn't fit, then I think he's given the start.
Let's assume Mitchell's fit then. So
Yeah,
Keshi's
yeah.
in there, is he?
Yeah, Neil Critchley's been fairly emphatic that Mitchell won't be playing. He said he won't make Saturday. I think today he said that Mitchell won't make Saturday for certain.
Right,
He's out then.
So there's our answer. There's our answer then, isn't it? Do you think he might go a little bit more rather than like a number 10 role, a little bit more the 2 across the front rather than?
Yeah, if I was playing if I was playing Bristol or if I was Neil Critchley, I'd put 2 defensive mids in, ask the fullbacks to push up, play an attacking mid, and then 2 strikers. So I kind of have 2 strikers, ask Stewart and Ward to cover as much of the midfield as possible, and then put Anderson at number 10.
Yeah, I think that makes more. Yeah, sort of like a.
Yeah, so you drop Ward in next to Stewart, and then Anderson floating behind the front 2.
Yeah, like a 5-2-1-2. To put the numbers by it.
Yeah, that actually, particularly for an away setup, that makes more sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you'll have Lavery and Yates really, hopefully, bearing down on their fullbacks if they try and play out the back, and it also it creates quite a tight defensive unit if we're under pressure, doesn't it? Maybe with CJ being the weak link from a defensive perspective.
Are we happy with that then?
Bison's is adamant Stewart's out, but I don't know what we do. We move? I wasn't impressed with Conley when he played in midfield against Burnley, so I don't see us trying that again.
I'd much rather put Reece James in rather than Conley at this point. I thought, yeah, exactly. 53 BFC. I'd much prefer James.
Yeah. I mean, he's fairly versatile, isn't he?
I'd have forgotten about Reece James. What's his actual preferred position? Right wing back?
Left back?
No, he's left back stroke left midfield, isn't he? Sort of a bit of like a Luke Garbutt-esque, I guess, is the probably closest. But I think he has played in the centre of midfield for Doncaster recently. So he could be an option in a midfield role rather than a sort of full-back-ish type of role. But there's a lot of unknowns and questions, aren't there? Really, who really knows exactly what the squad and fitness situation?
And surely Sarkic is going to play, isn't he?
Well, the amount of minutes he's had.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Put him defensive mid. He's played everywhere else.
Has Reece James muddied the waters then, or are we sticking with this?
Well, I think again, if Stewart isn't fit, and obviously we've got conflicting information on that, haven't we? Then we can see where the secondary option is, can't we? I think that's probably the most logical.
Yeah. So we're assuming if we're going to assume if Stewart's fit, that's the team. Right, I'll tweet that out in a minute. It's quite interesting doing that, wasn't it? If he teams this play, if he picks this team and they go out and win the game, we should be on Championship Manager, shouldn't we?
Well, I was surprised Coach Critch is not here actually to sort of give us a bit of intel. But
Mike Mellors said Stewart and Ward ? Negative. I think we explained that, Mike, didn't we? In the reasoning away from.
There's also a bit of needs must as well, isn't there? Like I say, apart from probably James going in the middle of midfield, I don't know who else can probably go in there, but. Hopefully they've done a lot of work on the training ground since Tuesday when they played. Was it Tuesday they played City? And hopefully they've got the plans right. Critchley is he's getting a good reputation for doing his homework, isn't he? And working out what's the best systems and for us and against the opposition. So we will continue to trust the process.
Yeah. And I think a couple of points around that give me some confidence at least is that who I understand to be Bristol City's one of their main attacking threats is their right winger. And as long as he's not their left winger, that's fine by me. Kind of have much more confidence in Garbutt.
Unless they're going inverted wingers.
So my hope is that means even if Garbutt's a bit muted because he has to do a bit more defensive dirty work, it'll, release CJ on the right to really run at their fullbacks. And because they play a 4-2-3-1, it means that you can just terrorise their fullbacks all day long because it's quite a narrow formation they play. So if that is the team, expect a big game from CJ.
Yeah,
we'll do the Hamilton name proud.
CJ at his top fitness best, and what I've seen from Lavery could potentially cause a lot of headaches for defenders this year if they're obviously on top of the games and we play them right. The pace of the pair of them look absolutely frightening, but it's just obviously getting the right balls to them, and that's where, by the looks of the team that we have, potentially we've got a lot of onus on Keshi and maybe not a lot of other creativity.
Yeah, I think Keshi's going to be the difference, isn't he, tomorrow? He's going to be the player to unpick their defence. Right, that was quite interesting. Let's move on to the Championship predictions quickly. Now, we did this last year, didn't we, Tim? League One predictions, and you may have one. We've not credited you yet with your victory, so I'll begrudgingly doing it now. So well done, Tim, for winning the League One predictions last year.
Thank you. I'm sure that he said that through bated breath.
Well done, Tim. We bow down to you. We bow down.
Do I get a trophy? That's what I want to know, because you should. Whoever's the reigning champion should have a trophy right behind them on. So just to remind everybody, got that big space on there.
Yeah, I'll dip into the Patreon funds and I'll get one made up. It'll probably be like a blankety blank checkbook and pen.
Yeah,
for those of us.
Is there still that trophy shop on Lytham Road? Can you not get something from
there is, yeah. I could go in and get really big and
I'll give you a tenner. I'll give you a tenner, Tim. Go buy yourself a trophy. There you go. It's actually a trophy shop in Polton, I think, as well.
Do with do a shield so you could put little shields all the way around it next year.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that when I started doing my junior football, and we went all the way through with it. It was quite cool.
Like live engraving, when they're doing it at the European Cup, just as the winners are about to be announced, we could do that live stream that of me crossing it out with a biro and crudely drawing it in. But as we said, we've been going through our own predictions, just a bit of fun this, listeners, viewers, and this is what we've come up with for next season. Now, we're just going to concentrate on our relegation positions, our promotion positions, and where us and the Nobbers are going to finish. So, Matt, let's come to you first. Explain your top three, explain your bottom three, and explain us and the Nobbers.
Okay, so I'll go from the bottom up. So my prediction is that Derby will finish bottom. There's been obviously a lot of news about Derby since probably the beginning of last season, really. But they do seem to be in a bloody mess. And whether Wayne Rooney and his staff have got the nous and the where-how to get them out of that trouble, because goodness knows if they're going to do a Jose Riga and have 8 players on Saturday afternoon.
They're on an embargo as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're just in as well.
They're just in a financial massive black hole, so they really got it up against them. So I don't know whether they're going to get out of it, quite frankly. So I've got them to finish bottom. I've got Huddersfield to finish second bottom. They have struggled more recently, and I can't see them getting anywhere out of the bottom 4 or 3. Then I've got Peterborough to finish 22nd, which some people might be surprised at. But when I think about how they finished last year and how I just thought they were susceptible at the back, and you're going to get a lot of goals shipped against you against better quality opposition, and I think that might be their sort of Achilles heel. Plus, perennially, they always sell the best striker. So if they do lose Clark Harris, I don't know where they're going to get the goals from after that. And then after that, so 21st, I've got Reading, similar to sort of Derby. They're in a bit of a mess financially as well.
Lost over 100 million recently, I've had.
Yeah,
100 million in the red.
They're absolutely screwed again financially, and that's going to catch up with them. And I think they're going to struggle as well. So that's my bottom 4. My top. Were you after top 3 or top 4, John? Sorry,
top 3. Sorry,
top 3.
Top
so I've gone
top 2. Sorry, your top 2 and
top 2.
Top
okay,
6,
well,
top 6. And who you think is going to go up?
Okay, so I've got West Brom as top. I've got let's have a look. I'm trying to find it now. I thought I had Fulham. Sorry. So I've got West Brom top, Fulham second, Bournemouth third, Sheffield United fourth. I can't find number 5. I've got Barnsley 6 and Swansea, which I think is a horrendous mistake. Swansea will not finish 5th. I think. Yeah, I've got them as 5th, but I think they're in a mess as well. So I might have to quickly edit that for tomorrow. And then in terms of us and Preston, Knob End, I've got Preston just to squeeze above the relegation zone at 18th. But I've only got us a couple of places higher than that in 16th. I do think we'll finish above them now.
Over to you, Tim.
Yeah, right.
Explain yourself. Just for those viewers, hang on, I'll just bring him on a minute. Let's lose this. It doesn't matter. He was looking at his massive screen, weren't you, Tim?
I am.
He's got his new office and he's got an absolutely humongous screen, and I'm really jealous of it.
I've actually out-gadgeted you, haven't I?
He has. I've got gadget envy. Anyway, as you were.
Right, so I'm actually going to stick my neck out and I'm going for Nobber's bottom. Somebody has to do it.
See it. You love to see it.
Somebody has to do it. So and I'll be very, very pleased if that part of my prediction comes true. I thought they had an awful second half last season. I don't think they've recruited well. There seems to be a lot of discontent.
They've got a manager who doesn't even want to be a manager, apparently.
Yeah, and the season ticket sales are pretty crap, aren't they? And I just think it's going to be a soulless place, and they're expecting Brad Potts to be their Glenn Hoddle, and it isn't going to happen. So I think they're going to struggle. So I thought I'd just stick my neck out and for the banter and put them bottom, and then moving up. I think Huddersfield. I think Huddersfield are going to struggle. I think I just got this feeling about that. I mean, with the best will in the world, I just didn't see much for them last year. They had this poor second half. I'm not aware that they've recruited particularly well. So I've just gone with them for 23rd. And then I presume there's only 3 you want, not 4. 22nd, I've gone Derby. I think Derby, just because of the players that they've actually got, will do a little bit better than the other 2, but I still think they're going to get relegated. So they're my, and then there's a couple of teams just floating around. I think I had Peterborough, probably is the lowest placed of the promoted teams, and I think Coventry might struggle a little bit as well. So they're my bottom 3. Then going for the top, I think it's going to be as was. I think the teams that have come down have got so much depth to the squads and so much more money than everybody else.
Apparently, sorry to interrupt him. Apparently, Fulham, they've lost loads of the key loan players from last season, but they kept that squad, the really good squad that got them promoted from the Championship. Yeah, they were kind of benched and just kept in the squad, and they've still got that brilliant team that got them up, and they've got Mitrovic as well, haven't they? So
yeah, I think Fulham. I think a team that finishes above Fulham is champions. So I've got them first, and then I've gone West Brom second. So there's a bit of a pattern with these as to which one you go first, and then moving down there, I think Bournemouth will be strong again. So I've gone for them for third. Fourth, I've gone Sheffield United. Fifth, I've gone QPR, and sixth, if I can find it, I've actually done sixth. Yeah, Barnsley. I have Barnsley. So actually, Barnsley, I like Barnsley. They're a little bit like Brentford last season for me. They're a well-run club, and I think they've got good players, and they're doing it the right way. The way I'd like us to see us do it, just a little bit like Brentford, where you get players in, get them playing for you. We need to sell them on, get the next player in, and make sure that you're not burning a massive hole in the checkbook. So and then looking at where, obviously I don't need to deal with the Nobbers because I've already disposed of them. But I'm actually the most, along with Sean. So I'm with the accredited journalist in actually thinking Blackpool will have quite a decent season. I don't think we're going to trouble the top spots, but I do think we'll be quite comfortable. I think teams will underestimate us this year. We seem to be bottom of every single prediction thing that's going that I've seen, and that's just lazy nonsense. I think we will be 11th, which I'll be really, really pleased with. So 11th and the Nobbers to be relegated, and I will be happy.
You've put them bottom as well.
Of course I have, because they're crap.
Has Nick sent them down? I think Nick has as well.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to going there, 5,000 away end, and just dick them about 3-0. That'll do me.
Connor, you were just a bit late to this party, but you've quickly scribbled them down. So give us your thoughts. Oh, you've muted yourself again.
There we go. All right, first time for everything. The great thing is there's no written record of mine, so I can just change them at the end of the season and claim victory. In terms of
now, don't worry about that.
In terms of my predictions, in terms of bottom three, I think I've got Derby dead last, like most people. They barely have enough players for six-a-side training, and that was before Wayne Rooney started actively injuring more players. So there's just
he's nailed one of his own players, hasn't he?
He has. They've got a player out for 3 months now because Rooney put in a tough slide tackle in training.
Looks like he's been nailing a few things pre-season, according to Twitter.
Boom, boom.
Superb, Matt. Superb. Anyway,
I've got Preston finishing second to last, and
get in.
I'm not just saying this because I'm a Blackpool fan. I think the loss of Ben Pearson was a big defensive hole in their midfield. Now I think they suffered last season as a result of it, and all their attackers are just really old. They're all past their prime. I think somebody said this in one of the comments that flashed up on screen. They've just got nothing up front. I can imagine them playing really, really negative, really, really grim football, and I just really hope they go down for it, and I think they probably will.
Well, that's the way they set up, don't they, with Alex Neil, and they just spoil against the top teams and struggle against to dispatch anyone. So,
and it's horrible and it's unambitious, and they should get relegated for it.
Damn right.
Quite right.
And then third to last getting relegated, I've got Peterborough, I've got the Posh. I think
that's quite surprising to you. You've sent them down. Actually, I think we'll do all right. I think you're all wrong. Anyway, go on.
I think normally I flagged this in my article for UTMP I published earlier today. But normally about one promoted side goes straight back down, and I think this year it's probably the Posh. They've got a relatively thin squad, and they kind of got lucky last year and not many injuries. And I think really, in a COVID season, when you've already got pre-seasons being disrupted, because of outbreaks, having a thin squad is just asking for disaster. So I think the Posh are probably going to go down. And, if I could bet on it being COVID related, I would. In terms of...
It'd just be great to see the look on Darren Ferguson's face as well, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah. Who wouldn't want to see... Oh, no, remember whenever he came into Bloomfield Road, he always was just a real piece of work, like trying to wind up the fans and then getting shirty with the worst stewards when they got shirty back with him. Like, it's just... Yeah, again, he's another one I hope to go down. I seem to have vendettas against a lot of sides, but I promise I'm not a spiteful person. And then in terms of my top three, I've got Fulham finishing first as champions. I think they've still got, to the points made, they've still got a squad full of top quality players. They've got a really good mix of, veterans who've already won promotions and very eager young players kind of hungry for success. I think with buying Wilson for 12 million from, they're still spending to kind of add to this, and they've got a manager, in Silva who has a point to prove after, not so much success in the Premier League. I think they've got all the ingredients for success, and as Tim says, I fully expect them to win the league. For second, I have Bournemouth, mainly because I really, really rate Scott Parker. I think he wasn't that great when Fulham finished third and went up. when Fulham finished and went up to the Premier League via the playoffs. I think he really grew and was a much better manager last season in the Premier League when, somewhat unfortunately, they also got relegated. And I kind of hope to see him continue to grow as a manager. And if he does, I think Bournemouth will get an automatic promotion, no problem, rather than extending their stay in the Championship further. And then finally, the team I have finishing third is Sheffield. I've no idea why Sean's put them 10th in the Championship. I think that's ludicrous. I get that Sheffield may struggle without Chris Wilder's his incredible, authentic connection with the supporters. But fundamentally, this is still mostly a team that finished 9th in the Premier League 2 years ago. And have signed Ryan Brewster, who did massive damage when he was at Swansea. I think they'll probably not get automatic because I think the loss of Chris Wilder hurts them, but they'll still finish, third, I think. And I reckon they'll probably fight through and get promoted by the playoffs.
But they have lost John Lundstrom, of course.
Oh, Mark, you beat me to it.
Oh, sorry,
damn you to hell.
Has Bob Harris left yet as well?
Timing, John. Timing.
God damn it.
Just
Great minds and all that. Right, I'll
just responding I'm glad to see everyone's put Huddersfield to go down, apart from me, mainly because I saw an Ollie Turton interview recently where he was praising Huddersfield for being far more professional than Blackpool because they have a nutritionist. And I quote, I used to go after every Saturday after a match, I used to go down to the takeaway and get a meal. Now, with the help of Huddersfield's nutrition team, I no longer do that. The level of professionalism is just there. So after Ollie Turton besmirching Blackpool,
that's just lazy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, because he couldn't, resist a takeaway. I really hope they go down.
Personal responsibility, Mr. Turton.
I'm quite surprised, actually, that Critch hasn't got a nutritionist at Blackpool.
There's a little right next to the training room. You can go and get yourself a nice pre-packed salad, a bit of hot smoked salmon. Chuck it all together. You got yourself a nutritional meal there. Fuck off, Ollie Turton.
I think we've gone on a downward spiral since Stan left with his porridge.
What's wrong with a vat of porridge? He cooks on an open fire with an old corner stick. He used to stir it. Just wipe the dog shit off before you put it in.
Cook some eggs on the roof next to Oyston's sunbathing towels, and you've got yourself a nutritional meal.
You've got yourself an excellent training ground breakfast. Right, just to close this off, I've got. Who have I got? Where's my own? Right. 24th, I'm sending Derby down. 23rd, I'm sending Huddersfield down as well. And the final the final relegation spot is occupied by the Nobbers. So it's only two out of us of sending them down, Tim.
I think the others need to look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, have they really thought about this properly?
I just don't want to be greedy.
You're a disgrace, the rest of you, a disgrace. And,
have faith in the Nobbers' ability to make our season.
So Connor, Nick, myself and Tim are all putting Fulham top. Second, I'm putting West Brom along with Tim, Nick, Sean and Sam. Finally, my third, I've got Bournemouth. Because I think they deserve another bite at the promotion cherry. See what I did there?
Ooh,
hey.
Very clever.
Here all night, listeners. Here all night. Right, let's just get back to the Bristol City game before we head off. Head to head. Now, I've been looking through the records, gentlemen, of how many times we've played them. It's quite surprising. 95 games. Yeah, 95 games played, of which we've won 32, drawn 27. And lost 36. And I was looking through these records. Sorry, wrong graphic. Recent meetings. If you can just squint to see that, we seem to have played them loads of times from 2012 and before. So yeah, we've played them a hell of a lot of times. So does anyone have any memorable games? I'll one home one is in my head. Let's see if anyone can think of a.
Well, I'm probably going for the oldest game. I think definitely before Connor was born. 1985, Ashton Gate, Blackpool 2, Bristol City 1. Eamon O'Keefe scored both goals. And that's the last time we actually went to Ashton Gate as well. So I should really go on Saturday. It's 36 years since I've been. But,
I think you mentioned that before, actually, Tim.
Yeah, it was good. It sticks in mind. We had a great start to that season. And if O'Keefe hadn't got injured, I think he'd scored 14 goals by mid-October. I was at uni. So I used to go to quite a lot of games from there, from Huddersfield, where I was at college. And O'Keefe was just like head and shoulders above any other player in the division until he got injured. So yeah, it's sort of got quite fond memory. So I did want to go back, but I've got to persuade my youngest son to accompany me. And so watch this space.
The cat's bothering the dog, so I'm telling him to go to his bed. Go to your bed. Go on. Got two animals in here at the moment. Matt, memorable games. Come on,
really
someone take this out of my head. You must remember this one. Home game.
2010.
Well,
Martin Bullock, it's running riot.
Yeah, it's funny, really. The one that I'm going to have to go online later on and just see whether I'm having some sort of weird flashback here. But I do remember us playing Bristol City at home, and I'm guessing it must have been late 80s or early 90s or something. On a Tuesday, I'm sure it was a Tuesday night at home, and we were playing in one of these crappy Sherpa Van version cups, and I think we were 3-1 down with about 15 minutes to go and won 4-3. I'm sure that was Bristol City.
Right.
And obviously it wasn't a league game, and I'm gonna go offline later on and have a look. But in terms of league games, it's bizarre. Really, I'm not having much recollection, but that's probably just old age more than anything else, and too much alcohol.
I was just about to say you've probably been pissed from.
Yeah, well, I've been pissed since 2001, definitely. Yeah. I mean, bearing in mind that three of those seasons are promotion ones, or at least I think 2 of them are. Sorry. Then I can't really remember too much about them. I'll be brutally honest.
All right. So we've got a 5-0 in there.
I mean, a 4-2 away win.
4-2 away. But the one I was thinking of was the 5-1. It was the last game of the 2001-2 season. Pointless game. We absolutely murdered them. I think we were 4-0 up at half time. I remember I was in the north. I think it was the Gene Kelly stand on the left hand side, and I just remember half of the Bristol City fans just getting out and walking because Bloomfield Road Bridge was still there. And they were all pissing off and just going to the pub. But you would do, wouldn't you, if you're 4-0 down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're up
do you not remember the one with the YouTube video where we've got all the tangerine squares on this is the 2010 one, when we had all the tangerine squares that were on every seat. So we all held them up before the game. And there's somebody done a video with the Bristol City end, and they're going, "What they saying?" And we were singing Holloway's Tangerine Army, and so that was the last home game.
Yeah, that was the last game, wasn't it? Yeah.
So it'll be on that list there, won't it? It'll be on the 2009-10, the 1-1.
And actually, when Nicky Maynard scored early on.
Yeah, right. And did Adam score a penalty? I can't remember Adam scored a penalty.
That atmosphere was incredible pre-match.
Yeah, it was, and they've done, and it's still there actually. If you go and Google it, and it said it's done from the Gene Kelly stand, and the atmosphere is awesome.
So yeah, it's going to be a good day anyway. Hopefully we get the weather. So it's just great to be going to an away game again, isn't it? First time.
It is for those. Yeah, I need to go. I'm going to have to reorganise my weekend, I think, to drive down on the day.
Wembley was great, but it wasn't like an away day, was it?
No.
When was the last time we did an away day?
You're going back a bit now, aren't we?
It's a long time, Tim. It's a long time. Right. So just before we go, let's go through predictions. Listeners, viewers, get your predictions in. What you think the score's going to be. So let's go around the room before we head off. Matt, let's come to you first.
obviously we discussed the lineup early on, and there's still so many unknowns. I would be delighted if we just came away with a point of some description. So I'll go for one each.
Steve Hutchin has just done that. Yeah, man. Hi, Steve. Hope to meet you again, filling up a water bottle. You'll know what I mean. Connor, over to you.
Well, I was going to go with 1-1 as well, but that's been claimed now. So I'm going to go with 2-1.
I was as well.
You know, I'm not confident in Blackpool defensively in the same way I was last season, particularly while we don't have a right back. But equally, Bristol City were the worst in terms of expected goals against last season in the Championship. So if we can't even score against them, you know, kind of there'll be no hope for us this season. So I'm going to say, somewhat optimistically, a 2-1. 2-1 to us.
Timothy.
As much as I want to be optimistic, I actually think we're going to struggle. I think we're going to lose 2-0. Sorry. I just think we've got too many players out at the moment. I think we haven't got players in that we need, which I think will come. But we haven't got Mitchell, we haven't got Dougal, we haven't got Gretterson. We may not have Stewart. And
we've not got a marquee signing, have we?
No, I think we need. I think we will probably get a couple of. Obviously we've got to see how the Arsenal lad gets on. But it's early days for him. We need a couple of good players in. We've had this conversation before, haven't we, on the pod? But we need our Ballards, our Sims, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, whoever it is, not those players specifically, but we need those replacements, and we haven't got them at the moment.
I'll tell you what I'm hoping out of hope is that if you recall when we went to Leicester away, first game of the Championship season, I think that must have been 2008, and we'd signed Wes on that morning, hadn't we? And no one knew that he was playing. And I'm hoping that at least one person might parade out a Gabriel, hopefully, or somebody like that.
Josh has just said that, hasn't he? Yeah. In the chat. So.
Oh my God! Right.
Where's KDH? Where's KDH these days? Is he
no, he's at Leicester, but I think he's probably going to stay there if Maddison goes to Arsenal, which is the rumor, isn't it? I think he's going to have opportunities possibly at that point then. But who knows?
He was brilliant at Luton last year, wasn't he? He's the real deal. Him. But realistically, we're not going to get. We need that type of player. We need somebody who's going to add that little sparkle to the team. And unfortunately, the ones we've brought in so far, Lavery may be accepted. I don't think have given me that feeling yet.
I think I'm going to go for 1-1. I'm going to stick with what was in me head originally. So I'm going to copy him out and go for a 1-1 draw. But yeah, let's just hope we get points on the board on the first game of the season. Right, everybody, thanks ever so much for joining us on the stream. Yeah, your input has been great. Always makes it a good laugh, and we might do a live match reaction on Twitter Spaces after the game, and we're going to do the proper match reaction analysis show on Monday at 8, I think. So stay tuned for that. So thanks Tim for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome. No problem.
Matt.
Good to be back.
See you, Ashton Gate. And thanks a lot, Connor. Been a fantastic debut. You may have done your chances a world of good for getting a new contract. It's well done, mate.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cheers. All that needs to be said. Thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading Up the Pool.
Up the Pool.
Up the Pool.